1993. Members of Hamilton Square Baptist Church in San Francisco were attending their Sunday evening service when they were attacked viciously by the gay activist groups ACT UP and Queer Nation. The church was surrounded by more than 100 rioters who screamed obscenities and roughed up parishioners who were attempting to attend the service. Emily Wagman and her 6-year-old daughter Jessica were surrounded.
They were right into your face. They were just screaming all these words, you know, profanity and bigots and cursing, and she was terrified.
Tim Wright, the 9-year-old son of Associate Pastor David Wright, heard the protesters shout, "We want your children."
He was quite hysterical about it and, you know, saying, well, they're after me. It's me they want.
The 3 or 4 police on hand were nearly pushed through the door by the horde of homosexuals. An 8-year-old retarded girl was so frightened that she fell down a flight of stairs. Hamilton Square Pastor David Innes tried to get police to take action, but police would not make arrests. 77-year-old Ruth Brown, blind since birth, was horrified.
So when I heard all this racket, I thought they were shooting, and I just went to pieces. Then I thought, oh my goodness, what if they come in here? Because I knew if they got in here, they'd kill somebody. I just knew it.
After the rioting, homosexuals held a press conference. Their cry was, "Christian bigots are trying to hurt us."
We would be wrong to allow Lou Sheldon or anyone else to promote violence against us simply because he cloaks his bigotry in Scripture and plans our Holocaust in a church.
Problem is not with good Christian people. It is with the new Ayatollahs in America who use feminism and who use gays and lesbians to manipulate those good Christian people to further their own political agendas and to reconstruct America into a fascist theocracy.
San Francisco is a city of refuge for us, the gay men and the lesbians and the bisexuals. We come here to escape hostility, to escape bigotry, to escape hatred and physical harm perpetrated on us by our families and by our neighbors and by the churches in which we were raised. Now, the same intolerant bigots that drove us from our homes and from our cities are here in San Francisco.
I just want to say that no people were prevented entry into that church. Everyone who wanted in got in. They might not have got in exactly when they wanted to, but they got in. I also want to say that I do not apologize for my community or its outrage. Never.
This is a First Amendment right he has, and he's exercising it, and it's important. I want to hear what he has to say. I've been fighting him for 6 years. I want to hear this.
I preach the gospel of Jesus Christ, and we will not have any particular group tell us what is politically correct. We will do what is morally correct.
Now, watch your television carefully as a man with glasses in the lower part of your screen spits in Pastor Lou Sheldon's face.
He did not spit on him. I was there.
Somebody needs to go to jail, and somebody does. What does that mean, Angela?
Can we pick out Christians to arrest for no reason? Tell them to come.
He assaulted me.
We're going to rule the world. We're young. We're grand. We're going to rule the world.
In 1814, Sir John David Michaelis authored a 4-volume legal work, which remains one of the most comprehensive studies ever written on the subject of homosexuality. He states, "Whoever wishes to ruin a nation has only to get the vice of sodomy introduced, for it is extremely difficult to extirpate it where it has once taken root. And once it has a footing in any country, however powerful and flourishing, we may venture as politicians to predict that the foundation of its future decline is laid, and that after some 100 years it will no longer be the same powerful country it is at present." We are engaged in a great civil war. It is perhaps the most crucial war in our nation's history. This is not a war being fought with guns and grenades and bombs. It is a war of values. It is a war of ideas. It is a war of concepts. It is a war for preeminence and control of our culture and its methods of communicating. The political process has been corrupted by ungodly men and by the neglect of God's people to be the moral conscience of our leaders. As a result, the secular world has been successful in twisting the concept of the separation of church and state to mean separation of God from government. They have convinced us that the church should not expose corruption and immoral legislation, and that Christians should not be active in politics. Our Constitution forbids the establishment of a state religion, yet the federal government itself is subsidizing the public schools of our nation with millions of tax dollars to teach humanism, which was defined as a religion in a 1961 Supreme Court ruling. All of our laws, until recently, were based on biblical law. Our legislators are legislating immorality, and we, as Christians, are endorsing them with our silence. Today, we must stand up for God in our democratic republic, using the voice He has granted us. A national rebirth can occur if God's people are willing to pay the price of personal involvement. Such has been the case in the various spiritual awakenings of past generations. The rebirth of America is more than a notable aspiration. It is a desperate need, and by God's grace may become a glorious reality at this crucial hour.